The snow was falling harder than usual that Christmas Eve, filling the park with a soft white silence that made every sound echo with a kind of lonely beauty. Amid the glowing street lamps and distant laughter of families celebrating together, a well-dressed man sat on an old wooden bench as if the world had forgotten him. His black suit was dusted with snowflakes, his eyes were red but not from the cold, and the way he stared at the Christmas tree nearby made it seem like he was watching something that used to belong to him, something he had already lost. This was Adam Hale, one of the youngest CEOs in the city, known everywhere for his sharp decisions, bold leadership, and perfect composure. But tonight, not a trace of that powerful image remained. Tonight, he just looked like a man whose heart had shattered quietly in the middle of a holiday meant for joy. Backhand index pointing right before the story continues. If you believe in kindness, humanity, and second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Kindness Thread. Your support keeps these real, heartwarming stories alive. People walked past him without knowing who he was, their minds filled with their own celebrations and families. No one noticed the men who had spent the whole year building empires yet lost the only person who ever made those victories meaningful, his mother. She had passed away only 3 days earlier after a long illness Adam had been too busy to notice creeping closer and closer. He kept telling himself he would visit her tomorrow, but tomorrow never came. Now every achievement, every award, every success felt painfully empty. He had everything money could buy, yet in this moment, he felt like the poorest man alive. He had come to the park simply because it was the one place he used to visit with his mother during Christmas, the one place where her laughter still echoed somewhere in the corners of his memory. But instead of comfort, he found only the cruel weight of regret, pressing down on him harder with every passing second. As he sat there drowning quietly in his own grief, he hardly noticed the small footsteps crunching through the snow. A little boy, barely 4 years old, bundled in a red winter jacket and wearing a knitted hat shaped like a bear, stood in front of him with a paper bag clutched in his tiny gloved hands. The boy stared at Adam with innocent curiosity, tilting his head slightly like he was trying to understand something deeply. Adam wiped his tears quickly, embarrassed to be seen like this by a child, but the boy didn't move away. Instead, he stepped closer, holding the paper bag toward him as though offering a treasure. Adam shook his head politely, managing a faint smile, but the boy continued to look at him with a seriousness that didn't match his size. It was the kind of gaze that seemed to see right through the expensive suit and straight into the brokenness hidden underneath. Then, with a soft, sincere voice, the boy said the words that would stay with Adam for the rest of his life. "Don't cry, mister, you can borrow my mom." The sentence stunned him. For a moment Adam could only stare at the child, unable to process how someone so small could speak with such unexpected compassion. The boy lifted the bag again as if insisting he take it. Adam accepted it gently, noticing it held a small gingerbread cookie shaped like a Christmas star. That simple cookie felt heavier than gold. The little boy smiled, the kind of smile untouched by the world's harshness, and pointed behind him. "My mom is coming. She can make you feel better." Adam followed the direction of the tiny mitten and saw a woman walking toward them, wrapped in a long winter coat, carrying grocery bags, and wearing a warm, gentle smile. She looked beautiful not just because of her appearance, but because she carried an aura of kindness that softened the cold night around her. As she reached them, she touched her son's shoulder lovingly, asking if he was bothering the men. Adam quickly shook his head, assuring her that the boy had been nothing but kind. But the woman looked at Adam a little longer, her eyes scanning the pain he thought he had hidden. Maybe it was a mother's instinct, or maybe it was simple human empathy, but she immediately sensed something was wrong. Without asking intrusive questions, she sat gently on the bench next to him, leaving just enough space to be respectful but close enough to show she cared. Her son climbed onto her lap, leaning comfortably against her as she wrapped her arms around him. Adam didn't know why, but the sight of that simple mother-child closeness, the warmth, the safety, the unconditional love, hit him harder than anything else. It reminded him of all the times his own mother had held him that way, telling him he didn't have to be strong all the time, that he didn't have to carry the world alone. Memories flooded him like an unexpected storm, her voice cheering for him at school events, her proud tears when he got his first job, her gentle scolding when he forgot to eat, her quiet smile every time he returned home no matter how late. And then the final memory, the one that pierced him the most, her tired voice on the phone whispering, "Come visit when you can, Adam. I miss you." He had promised her he would come soon. But soon never happened. Overwhelmed, Adam finally allowed the tears he'd been suppressing to fall. He didn't try to hide them. This time he let himself grieve honestly, rawly, painfully. The woman placed her hand softly on his shoulder, offering comfort without judgment. Her son reached out a tiny hand to touch Adam's sleeve as if reminding him he wasn't alone. In that moment, in a snowy park lit by twinkling Christmas lights, Adam felt something he hadn't felt in a long time: human connection, pure, unselfish, real. They stayed like that for several minutes, the quiet snowfall surrounding them in a peaceful cocoon. When Adam finally found his voice, he thanked the woman for her kindness, explaining that he had just lost someone very dear to him. She listened patiently, offering words filled with empathy but not pity. She told him grief was not a weakness but a sign of deep love, and love was something that never truly disappeared. It stays alive in the memories, in the habits, in the little things that continue even when a person is gone. Her words felt like someone stitching the broken edges of his heart back together. The little boy, unaware of the gravity of the moment but sensing the heaviness, leaned forward and whispered, "It's okay to be sad. Mommy says feelings need hugs too." The innocence, the honesty, the purity of that thought made Adam smile through his tears for the first time in days. The woman eventually stood up to leave, offering him a warm farewell and wishing him healing. The boy waved enthusiastically before holding his mother's hand as they walked away through the softly falling snow. Adam watched them go, feeling lighter than when he had arrived. He realized that sometimes the universe sends healing in the most unexpected forms: a child's kindness, a stranger's compassion, or a gingerbread cookie on a cold Christmas Eve. Backhand index pointing right. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Thread. Your engagement helps these meaningful stories reach more people who need hope. Before you go, Speech Balloon, tell us in the comments, what was the most heart-touching act of kindness you ever witnessed?